What's up, everybody? Thrift Barringer here from Troup County High School, one of the top programs in the entire state. And I'm with the head baseball coach and head football coach of Troup County. His name is Tanner Glisson. Tanner, thank you so much for allowing us to be here, man.
Hey, man, thank you for being here, man. Been on your show several times, and to have you here live at Troup County High School, let's go, man.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. We're excited about the future. As again, we told you we're expanding. We told you there's a teaser, and we're here. I'm telling you, here in Troup County, LaGrange, Callaway, these schools are, I'm telling you, the top schools in their respective leagues, and we're glad to expand up toward this area, Coach.
Man, it's a athletic mecca.
I mean, man.
Just in this little area with us and LaGrange and Callaway and Heard County and this little area and all, man, it's great. Ball everywhere. Yeah. And so we're excited to have you guys.
Yep, thank you so much, Coach. All right, what we like to do, especially with this being your first interview, and we're kind of going in the background history of Tanner Glisson. So go back to where you're from, where your playing days were, where you went to college, what got you into coaching, what ultimately led you here to Troup County.
Well, it's pretty boring, but I want to give it a shot, man. But no, I was born and raised in Manchester, just about 30 miles, 40 miles from here. My dad, my whole family, my dad played football in Manchester in the 70s. I was an all-state quarterback at Manchester, and so I was born and raised there. My family had a car dealership over there called Meadows Motors, and so we were just, Manchester, bled blue. And so that's where I graduated. In football, was lucky enough to play for a state championship.
Wow.
Play for legendary coach Greg Oglesby, Zeke Gear, those guys over there in Manchester. And so, just fell in love with sports in general. After graduation, I went over to Gordon Junior College and played baseball for 2 years.
Know about Gordon?
And I was a pretty good defensive guy. Could run, but couldn't hit my way out of paper sack. And so after 2 years, I was like, and the guys at Manchester that I had played for over there with Zeke Gear, Greg Oglesby, Chip Metters, Tommy Parks, all those guys over there, Jeremy Williams, they said, hey, come over here and start your coaching career, start community coaching. So I transferred to Columbus State, and as a junior and senior in college, started coaching.
Wow.
So that was cool, man. So I was at Manchester coaching for 3 years as a community coach. Jeremy Williams gave me a job at Greenville High School. He was a new head coach going there for the first time. Dale McGee was on that staff, Chip Metters. And so had a really good time up at Greenville, and I left there, went down to Columbus for a short stint with Charles Flowers.
Another legendary coach.
Yes, I just got inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, another Hall of Fame.
Another baseball, football guy.
Yeah.
And so after that, I went back to Manchester. I spent 8 years there. I was a head coach there for 2 years after following Greg Oglesby, which you shouldn't ever do that. Don't ever follow the legend, right? And then Chip Metters, whose name I've mentioned, came over here to be the principal at Troup. And so he called me and he said, hey, I want you to come over here and be the head coach at Troup. And I was like, Chip, I always wanted to just be the head coach at Manchester.
Right.
And but really felt like God was leading me to check it out. And so we did, and the rest is history. I've been here 11 years. My wife is the principal at Long Cane Middle School. So she's the head coach. She's the head principal.
But head coach of all the teachers,
that's right. Of our feeder middle school. My daughter Lanier just graduated from here, and she's going to Troy. And then I have two sons, Chandler, who will be a rising junior football, baseball player, and then a rising 7th grader, Chambers, down at Long Cane. So awesome. This is now home. We're in the Bubba Jeter indoor practice facility here at Troup.
Love it,
Bubba Jeter is now coming back to coach on our staff to help on the defense.
You got to be kidding me. Wow.
Yeah, so he spent 30 years here. And so we're just excited, and we're at a good spot, good position.
And I love here. And by the way, you saw when we opened the shot, that was a picture of him winning a nationally televised game against a top-ranked team at Sandy Creek. And you done a great job here, Coach. What got you into coaching? Who were some of those mentors, and when did you kind of know this was your calling?
Yeah, at an early age, that's all I want to do was play ball. I just love to compete, especially coming from a small school like Manchester. When they rolled the ball out, you just played. It didn't matter what ball it was, basketball, baseball, football, whatever. You just played. And so I fell in love with just competing. And then when I got a little bit older, there were several coaches like Greg Oglesby, like Zeke Gear, like Jeremy Williams, who just kind of poured into my life, were difference makers for me. During the time my mom and dad were going through a divorce when I was a young teenager, and they were real instrumental in just keeping me grounded. And I just really, I love to compete. So I always wanted to compete in something. And I wanted to pour back into people like they did me.
That's
and
awesome, man.
so, I think that's what led me into education.
Yeah, and I said, other than Greg Oglesby, make sure I'm saying his name right.
Coach O.
Yeah. Who else were some of those mentors?
Yeah, Zeke Gear. He was one. Jeremy Williams, was my quarterback coach at Manchester, and those guys. And it just, as you say, it takes a village, right? As a community, that's the way in a small town like Manchester.
Right.
Those coaches, they were icons in Manchester, and so I looked up to those guys, and here we are.
All right, so you knew that was your calling. You've been here for 11 years.
This will be 11th.
What is it about Troup County that's so special why you've called it home, Coach?
Yeah, the number one thing is you have really great alignment from Dr. Hazel, our superintendent, all the way down to our principal, Chet Stewart, all the way down to our athletic director, Kevin Hobbs. So there's just great alignment with administration.
How important is that to have that alignment, Coach?
The most important thing. We've had opportunities, obviously, like everybody else, to go other places. But when you find a place that has great alignment, administration and teachers, faculty that care about athletics, but then on top of that, parents allow you to coach the kids in Troup County really hard.
Right.
And that doesn't happen everywhere.
Right.
And the parents in this community really understand what it takes, hard coaching and discipline. So when you get that kind of alignment, man, it's a really, really good thing. And that's why we've been here for 11 years now.
Talk about Andrew Calhoun, who was the AD here, moved up, and then also talk about now Mr. Kevin Hobbs, who's been the AD last 2 years. Yeah,
I've outlived 3 ADs. So one of them, when I first got here, Bob Schweizer is now still here on staff as assistant principal.
Nice.
His son played for us, is now coaching with us. So it's all intertwined. We had Andrew Calhoun a couple years after I got here, stepped into that role. I came over from Griffin High School, did a phenomenal job here as our athletic director, and now he's our county AD. So for us, LaGrange, and for Callaway. And now we have Kevin Hobbs, who is now here coming over from Pike County, Georgia.
Awesome.
Who's doing a phenomenal job. But all those guys fell in line with the leadership of the school, with our principal, and we couldn't be happier.
Now, Coach, when talking about your teams and the direction of Tiger Athletics, and now heading into your 11th year, do you like the way, I mean, obviously baseball and football are successful.
Sure.
Credit to you for that. But it's all the sports that I feel like get a major support from everyone around the community. Can you kind of allude to that?
Well, I felt like there was once upon a time early in my tenure here where those sports were a little bit splintered as far as independent of each other.
Right.
And so that kind of led me into 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago now, going into being a dual sport coach here at Troup High School with football and baseball. And I kind of was preaching, that we got to share athletes, that we've got to come together as a unified athletic program. And so at that point, I had to put my money where my mouth was. And so taking over that role as a baseball coach, also, I wanted to kind of lead by example.
Right.
And we have such good talent here. And the coaches, it wasn't that they were intentionally doing anything wrong.
Right.
It was just everybody was kind of looking out for themselves.
Right.
And now I think we've got this thing under one umbrella.
Right.
Everybody's pulling in the same direction. I think not just football, not just baseball, but I think other sports are taking off. And I think with us winning the first non-wrestling state championship in baseball this year, that people are seeing that we don't have a ceiling on our heads.
Right.
We don't have a cap, that hopefully we've opened eyes to, yes, we can win multiple championships here at Troup County.
Let's talk about the adaptation you've had to have over your career with a modern day athlete, man, because athletes are a lot different than they were 20 years ago, 10 years ago, heck, 15 years ago when I played. And obviously now with NIL, the transfer portal, it's harder to get recruited, the social media aspect of it. It's really hard for athletes and the pressure they put on themselves. How have you been able to adapt in your coaching? You talk about the hard coaching. You got to find athletes nowadays to be able to handle that hard coaching.
Well, I think the number one thing is I'm very comfortable in my own skin.
Right.
And what I mean by that is, I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to criticism.
Right.
I want to get better. Yeah. We don't just hire, I think from Long Cane all the way up through Troup High School in 2 sports, I'm responsible for almost 30 coaches. And so being responsible for 30 coaches, I don't want to just hire yes men.
Right.
I want to hire people that will tell me the truth and will also look for a better way of doing things.
No doubt.
And I think your head coach of those sports has to be open-minded. has to be comfortable in his own skin or her own skin as far as, you know, not looking over your shoulder and worry about you're going to get fired or you're going to do X, Y, and Z. And when you do that, you know, we're always in the constant pursuit for the competitive edge. You know, and I think Urban Meyer said that, maybe even before he said that, Pete Carroll said it. Yeah. And but that's kind of along the line of what I want the programs here at Troup High School, but the one specifically that I'm in charge of to look like.
No doubt. His name is Tanner Glisson. He is the head football and baseball coach and a big part of why Troup County athletics is so successful. We're going to take a break, Coach. And when we get back, we'll continue on with sitting with the athletic director, state of the programs, and we'll become talking fall sports right after this.
Hi, my name is Griff Gordy, and here at Gordy Eye Care, we have been serving the Bi-City community for 17 years. As a former state championship quarterback, I love the fact that I can watch local high school athletics from the comfort of my own home. So it was a no-brainer to support Georgia-Alabama Sports Live and what they do for young athletes in our area.
And without business like yourself, Gordy Eye Care, none of our coverage would be possible. To be able to cover the 16 different high schools, the local colleges, and professional teams. So we'd like to say thank you to you, Dr. Griff Gordy and Gordy Eye Care, for your support of Georgia-Alabama Sports Live. And then you can make an appointment today at Gordy Eye Care with the number 334-291-5125. Keep supporting Gordy Eye Care and keep watching Georgia-Alabama Sports Live. Welcome back here to Bubba Jeter Indoor Facility, a longtime legendary coach of Troup County, and I am with the head football coach and baseball coach, Tanner Glisson, state of the programs. Coach, let's talk about it this past year. Obviously, had a little ups and downs. You're going off of what was an incredible 2-year run. And by the way, I do want to tell you that 2023 year, man, to have your quarterback go down and seeing your guys compete the way they did, Coach, I'm telling you, that really was inspiring because for most people, that's a season-defining injury that makes your team quit. But that's your culture that you set here.
Well, that was our second semifinal team, and we really felt like that was the team to win it.
It was.
Teo Todd, you're referencing,
elite player.
Was an elite player, broke all kind of records. We had all those guys back for his senior year. You know, we're undefeated 4-0, and he goes down and tears something in the top of his foot, out for the year, and, man, our hopes were just dashed. And we had a very good year, won 9 games, but that was a team we felt like could win the whole thing.
No doubt about it, Coach. And Teo Todd, by the way, a Sports Vision's award winner, multiple. And, Coach, that's how we got to know each other from Sports Vision's Football Awards Luncheon that DJ's done a great job with and Dale for over the years, and glad we get to do it again this year. But, Coach, let's talk about this year's team. Okay, last year you felt like you were building a foundation for the years to come. How do you think last year's learning experience helped you for this year?
Well, going back to Teo Todd's year, we graduated 18 seniors that year, and we graduated 9 of those were Division I players. So, you know, that was we put a lot of stock into that. We knew no matter what happened, whether we won a state championship or we didn't, that 2024 was going to be a rebeat. We knew that. Now, we were hoping to get into the playoffs. We went 5-5, but we lost so many games right at the wire. We were throwing in the end zone from the 10-yard line against Harris County to hopefully try to win that game. We had the lead on Sandy Creek with 30 seconds left to go in the game and lost that game.
Top 10 team.
Top 10 team. We lost to Whitewater in the fourth quarter after having a 10-point lead. So, you know, if we win 1 or 2 of those games, but a young team kind of does that.
Right.
So if 5-5, and not only 5-5, but being in every single game in that 5-5 is the worst it's going to get in 10, 12 years, I'm okay with it.
Right.
So I think this year we've got 90% of our starters back, 90% of them. We've got 10 starters back on offense. We've got a lot of those guys already committed. A lot of those guys are multi-sport athletes that just won a state championship in baseball. So we feel pretty good.
Let's talk about your quarterback position because you're a quarterback whisperer, man. How about having a Teo Todd? That's a program-defining player. How do you feel about it this year?
We had Teo Todd. We had Montez Crow, who threw for more yards than Trevor Lawrence, went to Savannah State. We had Kobe Hudson, who played quarterback. So him and Teo were both players of the year.
Wow.
So now it's Garrison Edwards. You know, Garrison Edwards is now committed to Murray State to be a dual sport guy, to play football and baseball, Murray State went to the College World Series.
Yeah, they did.
And then behind him, that is very, very capable is Chase Mosley. Both of those guys just won a state championship in baseball, starters. So we're extremely excited. Garrison is more kind of like Teo Toddish, as far as dual threat.
Right.
Mosley, who would just be a junior, It's more like Montez Crow.
Yeah.
Wants to sit in the pocket, throw it all over the yard.
Right.
But we feel very, very comfortable with both of those guys. We're going to give Garrison the nod early.
Right.
Chase is going to play corner on defense to start the season, and but we feel very comfortable with both of those guys.
I want to give you an opportunity to shout out your coaching staff because you got a guy coming back that's a legend. I'm going to let you break it now.
Bubba Jeter was here for 30 years. Bubba Jeter drove over to Manchester. I can still see it vividly to twist my arm to get me to come be the head coach here. So he's been nothing but great, just a mentor, friend of the family. This is his place, man. Yeah. This is not my place. He was here for 30 years. This is I'm just a gatekeeper. This is what Bubba Jeter built. The community loves him.
Yep.
J.C. Copeland, that's actually his godfather is Bubba Jeter.
Come on, man.
Yeah, so J.C.'s our defense coordinator, played at LSU. You got Mario Walker that you know. Yep. Man, I'm going to start naming people, and I'm going to leave people out. But we've probably got about 5 or 6 guys that have been with me for about 8 years.
Right.
Stan Brumbelow, Eddie Lawson, J.C. Copeland. Just a tremendous staff, man. I'm really excited about it. We've got 15 of those guys that coach football here at Troup that I'm responsible for at the varsity level.
I love that, man. And I love hearing this program, and we're excited because we've got big things on the horizon for 2025. And I can't wait to do a Troup football game this year, too, on Georgia Alabama Sports.
8 home games.
8 home games. Man. Talk about that. So we were talking off air. Because you share a stadium with Callaway and LaGrange,
yep.
You know, we were talking with Mike Polly, yep. LaGrange AD. He says, hopefully in the near future, we can get another stadium built. So talk about how do y'all make this work, man?
Well, first and foremost, going back to that 5-5 team last year, that young team had to play 7 games on the road, you know, so that wasn't easy when you're a young team. But, you know, we're cordial with each other. Regardless of what everybody thinks, we work very well with the other 2 schools. And we try not to play many Saturdays.
Right.
So if we do get a situation where we got to play 3 teams in town on the same week, we have to draw straws.
Right.
And so, you know, the low straw gets the Saturday game. The high straw gets the Friday game, and the odd man out gets the Thursday game. And but there are some whispers about possibly building a new stadium, which is really good. A lot of our population, student body, is from West Point.
Right.
So we're really a lot of North Harris County, West Point, and a little bit right here in the south part of the city.
Right.
You know, so if we could get a stadium out this way, that'd be awesome.
I think that would be great too, Coach. It'd be great for the city and this growing community that keeps getting more and more people.
Absolutely.
More houses are being built. It's awesome. All right, let's talk about some of the other sports here, and we'll start with softball and Ryan Simpson.
Yep. Coach Simpson does a phenomenal job. She played down at Point University, was in the state playoffs last year.
Awesome.
Was a young team also.
Yeah.
So they're working really hard. They were just down at FCA camp down in Columbus.
South Commons right now.
So they're ready to rock and roll. They're putting in the work.
All right, volleyball. I love this sport, and it's got – Coach, I don't know if you've ever been to a volleyball match. It's one of my favorite things to watch, dude.
My daughter was a volleyball player this year.
Come on, man.
Yeah, they went to the quarterfinals, Elite 8 for the first time in school history this year.
And Susie Cook leads that program.
Susie Cook, yeah. She's an interim coach right now. And so she's going to do a phenomenal job, but they have a really good thing going with our volleyball program.
Yeah.
I always tell them it's always 70 degrees in the gym, baby. And so we're looking forward to the volleyball team.
No doubt about it. Cross country, it ain't 70 degrees outside when they're running, man. Who leads, and that is Coach Townsend leads that program.
Coach Townsend is coming to us. He's also going to be our soccer coach.
Nice.
Coming to us from Trinity Christian up in Sharpsburg. So he's going to do that, and it is not 70 degrees outside, man. And see those guys running. They have a track here that they run across country.
Early in the morning.
Early in the morning outside the baseball field and up around. Those guys and females.
Yeah.
Women do a really great job in doing that with cross country.
Growing sport, probably the biggest growing sport in America is flag football, and Coach Bridges talking about it.
Coach Bridges is coached football. He's coached basketball. He works the mess out of them.
Nice.
And they are very athletic. That's a growing sport. They are up and out real early in the morning getting workouts done. Last year, I think, was maybe our first year doing flag football at a competitive level, and Coach Bridges is going to have those girls ready to go.
I can't wait for that. And then, of course, we got to talk about cheerleading and band. Like, those are so important, not just Friday nights, but those kids dedicate themselves in competition and stuff like that. Who leads those programs, Coach?
Yeah, Amelia Key does a really, really great job with our cheer. She does the competition cheer. She does our sideline cheerleading.
Right.
Their cheer room is right across from our coach's office.
Right.
So I stick my head in there every chance I get to cheer those girls on. They do a phenomenal job. I mean, people don't understand how much technique and athleticism that goes in competition cheerleading. Man, it's off the charts. And our band, we just received a new band director. She just started here just like now, like today. And so they're doing a good job. They were in here today doing some little small group breakouts.
Awesome.
Football's not very fun without band.
No, you got to have that.
Gotta have band.
And they got to set the vibe, too. Well, that's fall sports. We're going to take a break. When we come back and say to the programs, we're going to winter now here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
I'm always on the go. But with the Kinetic Credit Union app, Kinetic is always with me. The Kinetic mobile app is virtual banking at its best. With the Kinetic mobile app, I can easily send and receive money, make a deposit, pay some bills, and I can even open up a new account, all from my phone. And I can monitor all my accounts in one place, all on the go. The Kinetic mobile app, energized banking at its best.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
Welcome back, everybody, here. Troup County High School, State of the Programs. I'm with Tanner Glisson. Coach, we're now in winter, and let's go to boys and girls basketball, and we'll first start with boys. Coach Hammett leads that program.
And Coach Hammett's done a good job. He just finished year one, made the playoffs.
Yep.
We're looking for a little consistency with that program, and I think Coach Hammett brings that. He's got a lot of guys out there, which is really good. Guys are now in the weight room, which is really good. So we're excited to see the growth that he's going to have in year two.
Carla Thornton leads the girls. How does she doing?
Been here for a long time, longer than I have. She was on my interview when I interviewed.
Wow.
She's played for a state championship. She's close to knocking that door down. Been to a Final Four. Had a little rebuild last year.
Right.
Had a couple girls get injured. I really think they're in for a big year this year as well.
Swimming, Coach Harrow, how's she done?
He's done a great job. Coach Harrow's done a great job. He teaches Spanish for us here. We swim up at the rec department up here on Lafayette Parkway.
Nice.
Have a couple football guys that actually swim. And I'm kind of jealous of that. I wish they had swimming when I was in school.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Esports. Have you ever seen esports, man? These guys get on their gaming. They talk trash to one another. It's really fun to be a part of. Who leads? And Coach Hill leads esports.
Yeah, dude, I know nothing about it other than I think we're good. And Coach Hill seems to do a good job. But I hear guys, and my kid plays some video games and all, and they're like, no, we're really good.
Yeah.
And I guess that's Fortnite and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And, but no, Coach Hill does a phenomenal job. And the big deal is we want to play for everybody.
Right.
You know, and that provides another one of those avenues that this kid may not, bounce a basketball, but has something to do, know, and that's what education and that school culture is all about.
Also, we're going to talk about one act play. Coach Mormon leads that. I just learned about this literally today. Talk about this one act play. It's pretty cool, man.
We love it, man. We go to all kind of plays. They put on plays for our younger feeder schools. They come in for the community, and they're really good.
Yeah.
And Jack Mormon also does some things with the radio shows and stuff in town, and so he's just into communications.
Right.
And but we have a lot of people that are interested in that. We have a really nice fine arts facility over there, and so we're excited about the future of that as well.
All right, we're talking winter sports. Let's go ahead and go to spring. Oh. We're not going to do that because someone would kill me if we don't talk about wrestling. You just talked about the dominant wrestling program, probably the most dominant program here in Troup County's history. Yes. So we got to talk about wrestling. Who leads boys and girls?
So that would be Drew Garner and Coach Scott. They do a phenomenal job with wrestling. We hadn't won those state championships since I've been here in those 11 years, but we're close.
Right.
And we won a ton of them before I got here.
Right.
Probably the most the successful programs at Troup High School for years has been wrestling.
Right.
And Coach Garner was part of some of those teams as a wrestler, and he's putting back some of those old school mantras or whatever, how you say that word, and just kind of getting back to our roots with the wrestling. And they're on the verge. Now, we have had some individuals that were wrestling state champions here recently.
Awesome.
But he's close to winning a team championship.
Right. And great job by Coach Scott as well. Now let's go to spring. We're going to save baseball for last, man. So let's talk about some of the other sports, including tennis, which Coach Kipper.
Man, we got a brand new tennis facility.
Wow.
So out here, it's in left field from the baseball. So, like, when we're out there with the lights on in the spring, they've got the lights on, and it's awesome. I love a lot of those kids. My wife is an avid tennis player.
Right.
When we first built this facility here, these were the tennis courts.
Right.
And so in that splash and in that promise was new tennis courts. And that just now came into fruition, and we're really excited about that, and the kids are doing really well.
Coach Lawson leads the golf program.
Yes, another football guy, been with me for 9-10 years now. Loves golf. I love golf. My dad lives on the golf course. So Coach Lawson has those guys and ladies out there doing really good.
Mario Walker, another guy on the football staff,
Yep.
he leads track and field
Yep.
with a ton of athletes. Talk about the job he's done.
Well, that's a big deal, too. Troup in track has never really reached his full potential. So we've got Mario Walker, J.C. Copen, and Desmond Reese, who are leading those programs, girls and boys track. And we think that thing is up and coming.
You talk about Coach Townsend leading the sport in the fall. He also leads soccer in the spring. Talk about the job he's
boys
done.
and girls. And he just came into us from Trinity Christian. We recruited him down here to take over those programs. Our athletic director, Kevin Hobbs, is a phenomenal soccer coach himself.
Right.
So he made that hire, and he's really pleased with it. And Townsend brings a lot of energy.
That's what I like to hear, Coach. And finally, baseball. State champion, Coach. What was last year's season like? Now you've had time to reflect on it. You got the Sports Vision Summer Award for, obviously, the team award for winning the championship. But, Coach, what was this past season's ride like?
Yeah, you're giving me chill bumps just to hear that being said, state champs. To be honest with you, it was the most humbling thing I've ever been a part of.
Wow.
I thought the opposite. I thought, okay, man, you win a state championship, it's going to be like I finally have arrived on that level with other really great coaches. And it was really the exact opposite as far as you realize what it takes to win a state championship, how many things have to go just perfect.
Right.
Luck has to be involved. Health has to be involved.
Yes.
And so I'm very humbled by all the pieces, all the players, all the coaches that poured into that, Booster Club people, and then I start thinking about people that I associate with who are better coaches than I am, who have never won a state championship.
Right.
And so it's a very, very humbling thing for me to be a part of. And, it was just a magical ride, and we were probably a year ahead of schedule, with the youth that we had returning all but two starters next year. So no pressure, right?
Right, exactly.
But it was a really great thing, a lot of fond memories.
Now, you talk about a guy in Charles Flowers that you coached under. Remember in 2000, he had that incredible where he won a football in the fall and then a baseball in the spring in the same year. What led you to want to take on both? Now, I know you're a former baseball player, so you love baseball, but what made you want to take on both? Because I know you're a driven guy and you don't like losing focus for what you do.
My biggest worry was I was going to be a jack of all trades, master of none.
Right.
Right. And so I really did it to help Troup County High School. 5 years ago, Craig Garner was taking over down at Northside Columbus.
Right.
And so he did not take that job until July. And so it was very, very difficult to find a head baseball coach going 2 weeks before school starts.
Right.
And so our principal, Nikki Watts, called me and she said, hey, I need you to take one for the team. I need you to do this for 1 year. And I was like, wow, I have not coached baseball. I coached it at Manchester back around maybe early 2000s.
Right.
I was like, man, it's been a long time. I said, but I'll do it for 1 year. And we went 29-5 in year one and went to the quarterfinals, won the region championship. And Chip Metters, who was the principal that hired me here, had gone on to be the assistant superintendent.
Right.
He called me on the phone and said, hey, my son Ty is going to come play for you at Troup, so you're not going anywhere until he graduates.
Wow.
And so here we are 5 years later with a ring on our finger.
That's lovely.
And so it was awesome. It didn't turn out to be that way. But people, players, coaches have kind of encouraged me to kind of keep that going. And really and truly, if I can continue to hire really good assistant coaches and kids keep responding to what we're trying to sell, we'll do it as long as necessary.
I love that, Coach. And I love talk about the sharing athletes part, kind of final wrap up for all the sports. How important is that all the coaches are on the same page and you're not working against each other and let these athletes get the best thing they can get?
I have never understood why anybody would want to prioritize.
Right.
The biggest thing I could think of when we got to a situation of prioritizing was Ryan Bliss, who now plays second base for the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah.
He wanted to come out for football his senior year, having not played in 4 or 5 years. And I was like, Ryan, this is not a good thing. You're committed to Auburn. You're going to get drafted. Let's just stay and play baseball.
Right.
But up until you get to that point,
right,
I think it's very beneficial. I think it creates different motor skills.
Yeah.
I think going back to the alignment, what we talked about our coaches here at Troup County High School in general,
right,
it's really great when everybody's speaking the same language, but they're hearing it from a different person.
Yeah.
And that is so beneficial for them to leave football Go to basketball court, and Coach Hammett is talking and preaching the same values that we are. You know, that's tremendous, man.
No doubt.
And as long as everybody stays in the weight room and keeps getting stronger, even in season,
Right.
We do it in baseball, we do it in football, we do it in basketball. I see no reason why people should not play multiple sports.
Yeah, in the development part, Coach.
Absolutely.
Last thing, talking about getting kids recruited.
Yep.
What's your message? And it's not just to your kids. You're also talking to our entire coverage area of thousands and millions of people that tune in. What is it that you tell your kids to get recruited in such a tough time with that transfer portal? I keep emphasizing on it because it kind of puts for not the 5 stars. I'm talking about the 2, 3 stars looking for D2 scholarships, NAIA. Those schools are waiting on the transfers from D1, and it allows your kids not signing anywhere. So what's your message to kids about getting recruited?
Well, the first thing is 10 years ago, I felt like I had mastered and our staff had mastered the recruiting of college football.
And you sent so many kids, Coach.
There was a year where we had 96 Division I programs come through here recruiting in one cycle, like 1 month period. And so we were like, yes, we've arrived.
Right.
And then the transfer portal hit, and then NIL hit, and we all had to adapt. And so the thing that has helped Troup County is we have tremendous relationships and connections with coaches.
Right.
You know, I can remember a time where 5 different offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators sat in my office at the same time. And guess where they are now? Drinkwitz is at Missouri, and they're like all over. They're all head coaches.
Right.
You know, and so we're able to tap into those resources. So that benefits Troup County High School.
Right.
But if you're speaking about in general recruiting in your service area, the biggest deal is right now is everybody almost has to be willing, unless you're not that 5-star, to come down one level.
Right. And work your way up. It's okay to do that.
That's right. If you were, back in the day, you were a Division I, you know, P5 type guy, you may have to come down and go to West Georgia.
Right.
And that's okay. You know, but they have to understand that it's okay. They also have to understand this. Everything you see on social media is not the truth.
Come on, man.
It's not the truth. And so you have offers, then you have committable offers, and you have all these things. Don't get so caught up in what I look like on social media.
Right.
I remember this. We had Kobe Hudson here at Troup County High School, and he had over 100 offers. And I walked in and sat down and talked to Kobe one day, and I said, Kobe, you know you want to go to Auburn. Why do we care if USC gives you an offer on social media if you know you're already going to Auburn? Who gives a flying flip?
Right.
And so kids have to kind of, it's not a game. If you're not careful, you get up playing a game and you end up holding an empty bag.
Right.
You need to find out what's best for you, your education. And guess what? If you go to Georgia Southern and you think you're good enough to be at Georgia, well, go to Georgia Southern and show out. And if you do, then you get in the portal a year from now, and those coaches will understand.
Right.
If you're going from Georgia Southern to Georgia, they understand. They're not idiots.
Right.
And, you know, that's the biggest thing. You know, we get caught up right now. People are trying to market themselves and be in social media. Find the best fit for you, because they're going to weed you out if you don't.
Right.
We have had kids that have gone on to certain levels, and they get there and realize, I might not be as good as I thought I was.
Right.
You know, and they get filtered out. Here's the other thing. People think that everybody in the transfer portal is in there because they wanted to get in there.
Right.
There's some attrition being had at that level too.
Right.
If I go and I take another job and I walk in and say, you're not my guy, you may want to look at getting in the portal.
There's no doubt, Coach.
Hint, hint, you better be looking for a new place.
Yeah.
And so, you know, man, this thing is spinning and changing so fast, but it's about education, young people. Get the education paid for, and everything else is going to take care of itself.
Love that message, Coach. And we're going to continue on. We got one more segment here. State of the programs on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
My name is Sergeant Jason Swells, and this is my CVCC story. Class sizes were not too large. The professors in each class had time to talk. It was almost like a one-on-one experience. CVCC did prepare me for my career. They made sure you knew the subject before you walked out of the class, before you took the test. They dedicated 100% of themselves to it. I could say for anybody who's deciding or thinking about going into criminal justice, CVCC has got my vote all day long because they're on top of their game.
All right, final segment here, Coach. State of the programs, Troup County, Tanner Glisson. Let's go ahead, and I want to talk about the fact of upgrading facilities.
Yep.
Okay? You made mention of the tennis. Baseball's had some renovations. Talk about what's happening around the campus.
Well, what you're sitting in is a multi-purpose athletic facility. We moved in here and built this thing right before COVID for $13.1 million. You know, this day, it would probably be $40 million.
Yeah.
So what you're looking at here is an indoor practice football facility. It has a baseball diamond bases, so we can come in here and do some things with baseball, and also softball diamond, so we can come in here and do some softball work, but it's open to everybody. Other programs will come in here. Volleyball was in here lifting weights this morning out here in the facility doing speed and cardio. So everybody uses it. Right through that garage door over there behind the camera is our cheerleading room. We have our wrestling mat room, which was the old field house,
Right.
turned into a wrestling facility. We have a 35-seat basketball arena for volleyball, girls and boys basketball. We mentioned the new tennis courts.
Yep.
That are very, very, very fresh, brand new. We have practice football, soccer field that is running perpendicular to where we're sitting now, and then of course the baseball facility.
Yeah.
And softball.
Yeah.
So we have softball adjacent to that as well.
Love it, man. If you've never been here, you need to see all their facilities. It's incredible. Coach, final thing to wrap up this interview. You know, state championships are cool, and I know you love winning them, but I think you take more pride in the fact you send kids to college. How is that the biggest message here for all of Troup County athletics? Yeah, we're successful. Yeah, we want to win state championships, but I like the fact I got guys going Division I and making impact there.
Well, I appreciate that, and that does give me a tremendous sense of pride.
Right.
Because we have put out guys in college that are second to none of schools our size. However, I'll take it a step further. Even not just getting kids into college to play football.
Right.
We try to make sure that you graduate with opportunities, regardless of what that is. And we have a guy that was a captain on our football team last year, went to a job with CSX Railroad, and we helped facilitate that.
That's awesome.
We have another kid that went to be an electrician. We had another kid just left today to go into the Naval Academy.
Wow.
You know, all those play football for us, but we're always trying to make sure that, yes, football is great. We're trying to get them scholarships if that's what they want to do. But let's be real. Football is going to stop. Baseball is going to stop for everybody at some point.
Yes,
and we want to make sure they graduate Troup High School with opportunities to get into the workforce, technical school, universities. If they want to play sports, that's great. But, you know, we're real big on just trying to make sure this is the right fit.
That's what I like to hear, Coach. And that message for 2025, 2026, I know you're speaking for Kevin Hobbs, too, the athletic director. What is the message this year for all of Troup County athletics?
You know, I think we talked about it. Our principal, Mr. Stewart, came and talked to the team yesterday about this, is we want to protect the brand.
Yeah.
We want to protect the team, protect Troup High School, protect Troup, whatever sport you're playing in. And that means if we're teammates, we're protecting each other, right? We're putting team first. We're going to try to do that and let our athletics drive our education and drive our student body. But we got to get out front. We got to lead. We got to do things the right way. But, you know, we want to protect the brand of Troup County High School.
That's what I like to hear. And I like the fact that we're also expanding up here. And we're going to be doing Troup County athletics along with LaGrange. And I love that we're going to be a part of something that I think is really special. You know, I keep talking about Columbus market, but this LaGrange is a big, growing community, Coach.
You think that's a good rivalry, Troup LaGrange?
I think it's a great rivalry, man. I can't wait for that.
It's wild. It's Auburn, Alabama. Callaway's really good in all that they do. This is a athletic mecca right here. In this, per capita, it's unbelievable.
Unreal, man. And just hearing the amount of athletes that signed to the next level is really incredible. His name is Tanner Glisson. He's a great guy. He's won many awards. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, and he's done a great job with baseball and football program. Thank you so much, Coach, for allowing us to be here.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate y'all and look forward to it. Been on your radio show many times.
Yeah.
Love to have the camera here. We're ready for the fall. Y'all get up here and let's get a game day going.
Love that, man. Georgia Alabama Sports Live. State of the program. See you next time. Go.